Welcome to part 3 of the recording on altering concentrations for master formulas, looking specifically at ointments and pastes where the formulation allows for this to take place. Now, in the last two recordings, we looked at the percentage perspective. We looked at altering the master formula in the metric, the original gram quantity perspective, recreating the total master formula, so you'll have a standard formulation going forward for the half strength preparation. Now, what if you don't want to alter the master formula and recreate your own master formula, but you want to use the existing one with a slight modification? And so we're looking at the documentation practices for this recording. Now, we had done the calculation and recognized that the active is 100 grams combined for sulfur and resorcinol. The zinc oxide is 400 plus 500, 900 grams combined. We already figured out that half strength, which is what was requested, we multiply the active by a half, which is 0.5, to give us 25 grams each. Now, this is where we're going to change now the recording. We're not recreating the master formula. We are simply using the original and doing our calculation for the altered strength. And some students may prefer this. Choose the method of documentation that makes sense to you. Between or among the three recordings, you have three different ways of documenting or approaching the question. Now, let's look at it. Sulfur. We do the step. This step is consistent across all three, where you have the strength and then you say 25 to 1,000, how much to 36 grams. You get the 0.9, the same thing for resorcinol. But this is where it changes. The prescription is for 36 grams. Of course, 30 gram plus 20% excess is 36 gram minus the 2 active. And so we are left with a base of 34.2 grams to figure out how much zinc oxide and how much emulsifying ointment. All you have to do is look at the ratio of the zinc oxide to the emulsifying ointment and figure this out. So the zinc oxide is 400 to 900 grams because it's the base that you're looking at, and that's why I labeled this base perspective. So 400 is to 900 in the base, and so therefore how much will be in 34.2 grams, which is 15.2. In the base again, 500 is to 900, and therefore 34.2, when you multiply, you will get 19.2 grams. So this is simple, no stress, and that's it for the calculation. Can you imagine? And so this is one of the simplest one. Instead of spending time to recreate the master formula, this is a straightforward way. But why we don't like to teach it first is because students almost always put 400 over 1,000 right here and then multiply it by the 34. That's comparing apples and banana. They're two different things. 900 is the base, 34 grams is the base. So to put 400 over 1,000, which is the master formula's total, then multiply it by the base, you are violating the principles of ratio and proportion, because you need to have the same variables whenever you are setting up a ratio and proportion. You cannot have a variable that does not belong. So 400 would be to 1,000 for the product. So you cannot multiply it by 34.2, which is the base. And you cannot also put this here to say 36 grams. And so we have seen over the years, students do so many different things in this little step here. And so what we have done for best practice, recreate the master formula. When you recreate the master formula, you cannot go wrong, right? Because oftentimes these two steps right here and right here is what throws students off. Now, there's another way. I'm going to escape here, and we're going to look at the recording in another way. Let's check. So here, the documentation, remember, in the table, the documentation for the table will be 50 grams, 50 grams, the original, and hence I've written the word original here. You did not alter the original. But because you're altering the prescription to be compounded, you have to put half strength in the quantity used column because this much must align with the objectives of the calculation. So to say quantity used without signaling that this is the half strength, one may take up your documentation and think that this is an error in calculation. So somewhere in your calculation, if you're going to document keeping the original, you must make it very clear that the quantity used is for the half strength preparation. So look at the ratio and proportion. This is what I was talking about. 400 is to 900 gram of the base in the original. So therefore, X is to 34.2 for the base in the modified. And so you cannot here put 1,000 here or 1,000 up here. No, the calculation for ratio and proportion to work, the variables must be consistent. So I just wanted to share that with you. And that takes us to the end of this recording, but there is another way where students can convert the right here, the base into parts, right here. And we'll look at it. Let me zoom in a little bit right here. If you look at the zinc oxide to the emulsifying ointment, and I'm going to delete right here, the ratio for the zinc oxide to the emulsifying ointment. This is another way you could do this part. Emulsifying ointment ratio. When you look at the ratio, it's 400 to 500. And so when you simplify this ratio, it is 4 to 5. So the total parts for this is 9 parts. The total parts is equal to 4 plus 5 equal 9 parts. So there's another way you could have done the calculation for the zinc oxide using the ratio and the parts idea. We know the base that we want. And so here it would be 4 parts, which is no different. 4 out of the 9 parts times 34.2. And you'll get the same answer. The zinc oxide is the same thing. If you look, see, 5 over 9, 500 over 900. So the parts would be 5 over 9. And that's how you also get the same calculation. So again, different students look at things in different ways. You can solve the remaining base using the ratio of the base ingredients, or you compare it to the master formulation that is given. And so the answer for the zinc oxide is 15. Let me come back here. Right here is 15.2 grams and 19 grams using the ratio of the ingredients to each other in the base formulation. So today I have shared 3 in this playlist. We have shared 3 approaches to altering the concentration for ointment and paste dosage form when the formulation allows you to do so. The important thing to remember is that the altering of concentration only applies to the active ingredients, not the base. We do not extend this teaching into creams and gels because those are different formulation. Preservatives and water and vehicles are different. So we rarely limit. If you look in your pharmaceutical calculation textbook, they only limit this altering principle to ointment, and we modify by adding the paste dosage form to the example listed in your books. Thank you for watching this recording. All the best with your course of study. Remember to like the video if it has been helpful and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.